Yo, this is Lucas. How's everyone doing? I hope you're good. Hope you're leveling up. Um, I had an experience this morning way early, and it's with a person who used to be really close to me and kind of drifted. Um, Really great person with intentions, but kind of ego driven and a little bit, I don't know what you'd actually call it. A little bit, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Wants to get the point across to you, so the language and the way this person talks, it makes you think they're mad. And I was told, I'm not mad. I am very passionate about what I'm talking about. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. I guess everybody's different how they portray their passion. But it just seemed like they were like forcing me to believe something or hear them out. And nobody likes to be forced. Not anybody I know, at least. And just came off really shitty. And I had a hard time, like, wanting to talk to this person because one thing, it was all negative. I mean, this person is going through a lot of stuff, and I get that, but everybody has a lot of stuff, and it could be, I don't know, drugs maybe. I really don't know. They're just crazy to me because this is somebody that I lived with for a while, and we shared life together, and things, got really good for the both of us at one point in time. But I think due to the profession they were in, they kind of brought their work home, and it just really became distant, this relationship I had. Distant enough to where I didn't want to be around the person. Always seemed so judgmental and always telling me I should do this, I should do that. And they were very successful in their career, and something along the line happened and they got really unsuccessful and started making really bad decisions. And I'm guilty of that too. There's a couple people that are close to me that or were close to me that had told me on my YouTube videos to get off my high horse, and I don't own a horse. And yeah, it's, because when I do these videos, these are true videos. This is where it's at. This is my life. Usually always in a car, working a lot, having fun on weekends, playing music, making connections. And, there isn't nobody. I mean, I guess we all use each other to a certain degree. Use people to vent or to hang. But I don't know. I felt like back when I was living with this person that I had gotten used a lot. There's a lot of, it's like when people get close to me and know who I am, they start to figure out where my soft spots are and things like that. And I guess we all do it naturally as humans, but it was to the degree that when I Like, I knew it was happening. I was being used, and I didn't know how to put a stop to it because I wanted to still be a part of this person's life and help them out where I could, and so on and so forth, So, but I don't know. I think it might have been one conversation we had and something clicked, and I was just like, okay, well, we can't live in the same house together, so somebody's got to go, And we didn't talk for a long time, and we just started talking at the beginning of this year, and this person's going through some rough stuff. Got a lot of things they got to do, transitioning, evolving, changing schedules, so on and so forth, So I was befriending this person again just because I still do care. But, like, I got these boundaries nowadays due to all my experiences where I don't want people to control how I feel about myself. And when somebody says something negative about me or this or that, I take it into consideration, and I step back and look at the bigger picture, see what had happened, because it does take two to tango, and two to fight, and two to love, and two to have harmony. And I just think that it's possible she's just in a bad place and too close to her situation, and too possibly even too messed up to keep things in order. I don't know. I really don't know. But I got offered to over to their place, because they have a place. I don't. Now the tables have turned, kind of. Back when we were friends, we shared a place. But and I've been having these pains in my back from sleeping in the car, and it's fine all day when I'm walking around. It doesn't bug me, but as soon as I lay down, like, something ignites. So this person was trying to help me out and offered me a place to sleep for the night if I wanted to, but because of some of the things that had gone on at her place that she had told me about, I didn't want to put myself in that place, because I don't like the type of people, the energy. It's an energy-based thing, and it's been really low frequency, and I've been dealing with low frequencies for a while now, and it gets really old, it gets tiring, it gets depressing, and I deserve better than that, I mean, it's one thing to be depressed and go off about things that bother you, but it's how long can you stay in that state before you just, I don't know, before you implode. And so I declined the offer because I don't know what to expect, and I didn't want to put myself in a bad place, because being on probation, there's a lot of rules and things I got to follow in order to keep me moving forward and getting through, this phase of my life. And this person got really upset and just started going off. I don't know if it was something I said, the way I said something, but at the end of the conversation, this person was like, well, either I will see you tonight or I will talk to you tomorrow. And I was like, okay, and I went to bed, woke up, and sent a message, the real reason why I didn't want to stay over there, and she went off on me again. It was almost like it's so disrespectful to me, because they weren't putting themselves in my shoes at all. All they were focused on was me, trying to feel better, which is really nice. But, the thing is, laying on any bed, I found, laying down, period, hasn't helped my back in 2 days. Once I stop moving and I lay there, it starts to inflame. So, but I was really taken back by all the negativity and all the shit talking and all the names being tossed out, and I was just mind blown. I really was. And my friend circle has been getting smaller and smaller throughout the last few months. I to the point where I'm having to block people, and that's really strange to me. I've never really had to do that a lot since these phones have come out, and it kind of messed with my head throughout the day a little bit. But I was just like, it all goes back to people are on their paths. You can't try to steer them out of their path. You can be an example and live, like you do, to be the example of one way to live versus another way to live, and that's how I've always learned. Back when I was in 12-step program and was sponsoring people, I learned that, not everybody you have to be bossy with or have your point of view. That, all you can do is share your experience and what it brought to you, and they can take in that experience and make a decision on how they want to live their life or the choices they want to make. And, I'm never better than anybody else. I ain't, and I don't claim to be. I think the way I carry myself sometimes, though, is because I'm confident in who I am. I think it bothers people a lot, and that's where some of the so-called friendships end, because people are mirroring other people, people are deflecting on the other people are gaslighting others just because they don't feel good about where they're at. And that's never going to change. So once again, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to listen to your BS, because it's just, it's a waste of my energy, and I got better things to do. And I even stated the point where I said I didn't care, only because the situation she was talking about had nothing to do with me. And it was the same story over and over. And yeah, it was crazy. I was just trying, to be there as much as I could. I mean, after a minute of hearing the same stories and the same qualms and watching how people don't even put forth the effort to change, because it is a thing you have to do in order to get what you want. You have to make changes to allow things to come into your life. You just can't, there's not a magic wand. There's tons of work involved. And I think that might have been a little stressful for this person, weighing out all they had to do to get where they wanted to be. And it is very stressful, and, the turnout could go either way. And knowing what you want in certain situations and getting something else can be pretty tough. So yeah, it's about learning how to respond to situations, I guess. I try to shut my head off and come from the heart, because that's when I usually can say the right thing or be in that frequency, to be there for people. So yeah, it was, and I have things like this happen to me a lot, and I'm not quite sure why, because I had a friend that I reunited with a couple weeks ago, and the same thing happened. We had plans to meet up and do something. I was kind of a little heartbroken that it didn't pan out, because I was going to go and do energy work for this person. I was really excited about it because I get something out of it too. It's not necessarily a selfish thing, but I had the whole day free and something came up and they weren't feeling good. And I tried not to react to it, but I guess I kind of did. And now we're not talking anymore. I got boundaries just like the rest of people, but some boundaries that others have are a little bit shorter than mine. Not everything is black and white, We have colors, and I can bend my boundaries as much as I like to, depending on the situation and how I'm feeling and all that good stuff. So I don't know, it was really weird, and it was almost like we spoke to each other for about a week or so, like every day, and then when a discussion was had about coming over and doing this energy work, I guess I got a little pissy about it, and I tried to make amends for it, but this person is no longer even looking at my texts or even wanting to reach out. So it was like one of those things. And this is a person I had a relationship, not a close relationship, but we were in a band together, and something happened along the line. I think she was afraid that my girlfriend wasn't going to like her being in the band or something, or they were going to clash, and she just knew it, and she just disappeared without even calling, saying bye, nothing. And then a few years, to the present time, this was like a few years back, to the present time, I was going through my phone and I seen her number, and I was getting rid of old contacts, and she was actually in my phone twice. So I went ahead and give it, because I thought she was upset because I never talked to her again. So I was just checking to see if this was still her number, and we started talking, and she was like, no, I love you, and this and that. And it's just amazing how quick all that can change up just out of a conversation that could have been talked a little longer about, could have been worked through, and things could have probably got smoothed out. But and I've been there before, where like you try and try and try, but you see the results and nothing's going anywhere, everything's staying stagnant, and it's really depressing and sad and upsetting, and deuces, I'm out. I get that. But this person, it was just like there was no talking through it or anything. It was just like a black and white thing. You say something to upset me, instead of talking, I'm just never gonna see or talk to you again. So it's really hard to make new friends, and especially new friends, because you never know. You don't know them. For one, they're new. So you don't know what the outcome's going to be, and to have your past rule over you, to make decisions to not be a part of someone's life or get to know somebody based on the past, that's not living to me. That's definitely not living in the now for me. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share about that, because it did affect me a little bit. And a part of me was like, how dare you, because back in the day I did this and this, and I feel like there's no appreciation for any of that. And then there was a part of me that was like, okay, you're going through your shit, that's cool. And then I had another side of me that was saying, just be done. Holy crap. You don't need to talk to somebody that brings you down and makes your energy all low. It's just, some people like it. I don't. I like to stay in a medium vibe, not way down low, not too high up, but just in a good, happy medium. I mean, balance is all I really seek. So so I just want to come on and share that with you. I'm sure a lot of people can relate with this topic of, should we be friends or not, And it just, wow. This year has been a year of learning a lot, of a lot of heartbreak, a lot of having to, God, just balance out the cards a little bit and make tough decisions that parts of me didn't want to make, but knowing that it's coming from my intuition, my inner God, my God, the angels that look over me, always talking to me. And, you know, also they talk through other people, you know, when I'm getting told off for something that can be smoothed over and maybe discussed a little bit more, not such a one-sided conversation. You know, I feel that's, you know, that's part of my angel saying, yeah, this is not a person you want to be associating with. They're not going to, you can give out your love, but you're probably not going to get anything back. And, you know, I've been, lately, it's been like that, you know. I mean, people show love in different facets. I know that. Some people like to cook and show their love through food. I have known somebody like that, and we're no longer friends or talking. And, you know, it's just been one of these years where, like, my life was all free and I was going where I wanted, doing what I wanted to do, and now I'm kind of, you know, restricted. I have boundaries put on me. But I feel it's been for a really good purpose. It's to kind of get me regrounded and realize some things that I have done in the last few years haven't been really that great for me. And I'm okay with that. You know, I've accepted a lot of stuff, and I'm accepting how people do or don't want to be friends with me, or, you know, it's, life goes on, man. The only thing I can do is write my gratitude book, meditate, rituals during the moons, during the sun sessions. I mean, there's so much that enhances my life that it doesn't really have to do with anybody but me. So if anyone's struggling with being single or being alone again or whatever, you know, let's talk about it. You got some topics you want to talk about regarding relationships like that, or, you know, because I need to be at a frequency that resonates with me when I'm dealing with people, because it just seems really worthless. So, I don't know. And I got to keep the doors open for new friends that are like-minded, not necessarily the exact mindedness, but, you know, who are about high frequencies and about good discussions that, you know, go into topics like that. So, yeah, I'm going to keep my circle small and serve my purpose. That's all I can do, right? That's what I'm here to do. So, acknowledging the fact that I'm not perfect and will never be perfect, and that I am sensitive. I do have boundaries, and acceptance has been key for all this, to be able to move through it. So thanks if you tuned in. Thanks for watching. Probably get a music video loaded tomorrow. Gonna go jam with some old buddies, see how it goes. You know, and have a good time. Make the most of life. And so have a great night. The weirdness in me honors and uplifts the weirdness in you. Stay true.